So now that my storm is completely done with the catacombs, the only thing I didn't do was the side quests, which I think they drop some decent reagents that you could do, but I'm not going to do that right now. But the next step after completing the catacombs, or even before completing the catacombs, because you don't need to finish all the last bosses, which was last video, and you can tell how long that takes if you watch that. That was a long video, but you don't have to do all that. You can farm for this gear without finishing the catacombs. You just have to start it to get to some of these sigils and some of these bosses and farm those instead. So this is going to be a guide of going through all the bosses that you want to farm in order to get this gear. Some of them are a little more difficult than others, and I'm basically going to go through the ones that I thought were the easiest to get the gear. You still have to kind of get lucky with drops sometimes, but I just want to make a guide for you guys and kind of give you an update on my progress with getting this gear on my storm. So here is the beginning of the catacombs, the drains, and this is the first sigil that you come across, is the abandoned house. And this is the first one that you do, is the first boss of the drains and the whole catacombs. And this guy is the King Detritus, the trash monster. He drops the hats. And if you guys watched my first video on my storm of doing the catacombs, I actually got a hat drop, and that is the Vanguard Hat. I already used it to craft the Dragoon gear, the Dragoon Shocking Helm. But getting a Vanguard piece of gear dropped from any of these bosses is super helpful in crafting your Dragoon gear. Now here's one thing I didn't know. You don't have to have your exact school of the gear in order to craft it into the Dragoon gear. You can have a Vanguard piece from any other school and it will still craft into the Dragoon gear from the recipe. Even though the recipe says that you need to have Vanguard's Shocking Helm, the other pieces of gear will work. And I didn't even know that. I thought I had to get the Storm gear in order to craft the better Storm gear. But luckily that's not the case. So that makes farming a little bit easier if you're going for these. So you just need any Vanguard hat and you can craft it into the Dragoon gear that you want. You obviously have to have all the other reagents to get it, which these can take a little bit of time to get all these, but I'll talk about that. But once you have that, you're pretty set. So King Detritus in the abandoned house will drop hats. So people farm that all the time. He drops salts. He drops, I think, crystals too, because all the bosses drop crystals. So crystals, salts, and of course extract drops from like everyone. That's the first one. It's the first sigil. People farm this one all the time. People do team up for this one because the boss is not that difficult. And you can get through this one pretty quick. So that is one that people farm all the time. Once you have your hat from King Detritus, or maybe you just got enough reagents in order to craft the Vanguard hat and then craft the Dragoon hat. I don't know. It just kind of depends if you get lucky or not. Luckily, I was able to get the fire hat and I crafted that into my Storm Dragoon hat. So it's just weird how it works sometimes. Like you get lucky, sometimes you don't. One thing I did not get lucky on was Vigor. Prince Vigor drops the boots. And this one is a little more difficult, sometimes a lot more difficult than the abandoned house, because this fight, things can just go badly. What's good about this sigil is there's only one mob fight before the boss, so that's good, but the fight can be good or bad sometimes, but you do have to farm this guy if you want to get the boots dropped. For me right now, I don't have the Dragoon Boots. That's my last piece of gear until I'm completely done, and once that happens, I will make the Storm gear setup video for level 130 with Catacombs gear. I wanted to make that this weekend, but I wasn't able to get the boots yet. At this point, I'm actually tired of farming Prince Vigor, so I stopped doing that, and I just pooled all my resources together on all my characters, and I'm just going to craft the Vanguard boots for Storm, and then craft the Dragoon boots. So I can show that to you guys. Here is my progress. I can pretty much craft the boots if I just transmute a 10 salt into 1 crystal, and I can craft those. Then you have to craft the Dragoon boots. Once you get this, you need 350 salt and 5 more crystals. So I don't have quite enough. I'm pretty close to having all the reagents for this. I need like 40 more salt and I'll be done. But that's where I'm at for that. Once I do that, I will make the video because I'll have all the gear and then I'll make my stats how I want them. And I'll show it to you guys because I still want to have 100% storm critical and as high of storm damage as I possibly can. So Vigor's Tomb is the sigil that a lot of people farm. People are doing team up for this all the time because they're trying to get the boots. These are the main two places, the main two bosses that people are farming right now. They want to farm King Detritus, the abandoned house, for the hat. They want to farm Vigor's Tomb, Prince Vigor, for the boots. So people are farming those all the time to get those. You also get all the other reagents from doing that, so it's helpful. So you're probably going to get to the point where you don't need to farm a boss, or you're tired of farming a certain boss and you want to just farm for reagents. And the place that I always go for this is this sigil, the Whispering Sepulcher. I think that's how you say it. I'm not really sure. This dungeon is pretty good because there's only one elite mob at the end of it, and then there's 2 other mob fights before that. So it's not that difficult, and you can farm it with like 1 other person or 2 other people if you want. So it goes pretty fast. This one drops a lot of extract, drops a lot of salt, and sometimes crystals, not that often. This is the place that I've been farming a lot just to get the reagents, because I don't want to farm bosses all the time. I want to farm faster mobs in order to get just extract or just salt, and this is the place where I go for that. That's actually where I've been farming in order to finish off my Dragoon shocking boots, because I only want salt and some extract right now. Crystals, if I get crystals, great. If not, I'm just going to transmute it from that. This is actually my favorite place to farm when double reagents is active. And one thing that I was kind of mad about this week is they had double reagents that was going this week. The member benefit was going, and I think it started like Tuesday, and it ended Friday morning. The tweet said that it was going to go through Friday. So for me, I planned on farming this on Friday. I farmed it a little bit before that, but I planned on, using my Friday because, hey, I have time off and I don't have to work the next day to farm the catacombs. Me and a lot of people that I know, when we found out that the member benefit was turned off on Friday morning, were very disappointed. I would have probably got my Dragoon Boots finished if I had double reagents, because it just makes it so much easier. So if there's one place to farm with double reagents, it's the bosses, if you're going for, the hat or boots drop, and the Whispering Sepulcher, because that dungeon just drops you so much with double reagents. You'll have whatever you want pretty quickly. So I showed you guys where to get the hat and boots, but I know a lot of people are going to be asking about the rings, because if there's any 3 pieces of gear that people are going to want to get from the catacombs, it's going to be hat, boots, and rings, because those are just the direct nice upgrades from the Paradox gear that people have been using. And you don't change out your robe. Wands are from packs. The Athame, I don't think the Athame is better than the Aphrodite one for Storm, but I could check quick. What do the Athames give on this? Yeah, they really don't give anywhere near. Where's the Storm one? They give block, but I don't really go for block anymore. It's really nice to have the 10% power pip. They don't give any power pip, and they give 1% less damage. So yeah, it's way more health, but it's not something that I'm going for. I'm not going to be going for the Athames. Some people might, but yeah, I'm not going to be talking about those because I didn't go for it. And I don't know if people really would want these. Maybe for a little bit more defensive, like blocking, but I don't feel like people go for block at all. So I don't know. I think without the power pip, these are not as good. So the rings are actually dropped by the Devourer, and I highly do not recommend farming the Devourer for those. You will save so much time if you just go and farm another boss, or you go and farm one of the other sigils for reagents and just craft the Vanguard ring and then craft the Dragoon ring. That would save you so much time. Like, I seriously doubt people are going to be getting the ring dropped from the Devourer, and it's not worth farming for that. This was actually the first thing that I crafted for the Dragoon set, because I wanted to get this one out of the way. I knew I wasn't going to farm the Devourer for the ring, so I just did it, had it done, and there it is. It's really good. It's a nice upgrade to the Paradox. I could see people going for these amulets as well, and I think the amulets are dropped from one of the last 3 bosses. Maybe the Devourer, I'm not really sure on that one, but for these, you probably just want to farm reagents for, because I don't think farming for the actual amulet drop from whatever boss it is going to be worth it. I think it's one of the harder bosses, one of the last 3 that drops amulets. Maybe it's even the Gregors. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. If you can get it, luckily, if you want to farm it, then do it. But I just feel like personally it'd be easier to farm for the reagents in order to get these. Do the Vanguard and then just craft the Dragoon from that. I feel like that would be easier. But yeah, these are more like defensive amulets. They give the universal resist. So I'm sure people will be going for these. Okay, I actually just looked it up for you guys, and the amulets are dropped by Satharolith, which is the Valencia boss. So I personally would not want to farm that guy, and I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, I would just go for the reagents on any of those ones that drop from a hard boss. Just farm Whispering. and you'll be set. Okay, I'm going back over here because there's better music. It's really quiet in the catacombs. Like, there's no music in there at all. Like, there's kind of like some little sound effects and stuff, but it's not really music. So that is my guide on everything that you can get from the catacombs and how to farm it. That's basically what I've been doing. I'm only going to be going for Dragoon gear on my Storm. There's no reason for me to get it on any other character. My Fire isn't even max level yet, but I only recommend going for this on a wizard that you hit mostly on, and that's obviously my Storm. For me, I'm not going for this on my life because I never hit on my life, and there's just no reason for me to go for this. But if you hit on that character, then you definitely want to do it. So Storms and Fires for sure want to get this gear because it'll just help immensely to get these upgrades. But other schools, you know, if you don't primarily hit, then maybe it's not worth it. Unless you have time and you want to go for it, then sure, do it. But one thing that is a really good upgrade, even for other schools, are the Dragoon Boots. Just for the fact that they give the Sharpened Blade and the Potent Trap. That's super good. I'm really excited to get these. Unfortunately, it's the last gear that I'm going to craft, and I don't have it yet, but they're really good. Even the helmets give mass Storm Trap and mass, you know, trap for whatever school it is. So that's nice for 0 pips. So some of these cards are really good. I'm super excited to show you guys the gear setup video when I finish it. That should be pretty soon. I'm not going to put a time on it because I know sometimes if I say how long I feel like it's going to take me, that doesn't happen, and then people expect the video and it just isn't there. So it's going to be happening soon. Another thing that I know is happening soon is going to be the Spring Test Realm. So expect that really soon. I'm not sure. They haven't really, you know, given out too many teasers for it yet. So I expect it to be still a couple more weeks before we get that. But they are going to be talking about it on KI Live, and they've been releasing some teasers for it. If there's enough teasers, I might make a video on it. Otherwise, I'm just going to wait until Test Realm comes out and just show you guys everything. That's happening really soon. Probably the next couple of weeks. So expect some Test Realm videos. If you're not subscribed, please do that so you know when I post those. Also hit the notification bell so you know when I post videos right at the exact second, because I know you guys want to watch it right when it comes out. So definitely do that. But thank you guys so much. If this guide helped you in any way, please leave a like on this video. Show support for the channel. Expect some Test Realms soon. Expect some gear videos soon. Well, probably just one gear video because my Storm's the only character I'm gearing out. But it's going to be good. Good stuff is happening soon. So look forward to all that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.